Hello, welcome back. This is Vinchenz, and today we are going to be doing the new missions in Star Citizen, the Navy Patrol Training, and then we're going to move on to the Combat Gauntlet missions 1 to 8. So here we are heading out, and we are going to our first training mission at one of the new asteroid bases.
You made it. That's one hurdle cleared. You'd be surprised how many don't even get this far. Okay, welcome to your first sortie. First things first, choose a point to scan and use your radar to see what you can find.
Straight away, it is nice to see characters popping up on the heads-up displays, and that is a nice touch that Star Citizen used to have, but then it disappeared for a while, but it's good to see that back. It makes the missions a lot more immersive.
Contact. Looks like you picked up a basic satellite. That's what a lot of patrolling is about. Checking stuff out and finding everything's perfectly normal. Alright, this point's secure. Redirect and head to the next one.
This first mission is super easy, literally fly to a location in space, scan a few satellites, and blow one of them up.
Your scans found a standard satellite. Seems like everything is in order. That should do it for this point. Get ready and fly to the next AO. Uh-oh. Seems this satellite's been hacked by outlaws. You're gonna have to take it out. Let's put on some go juice and see what your bird can do. Just keep an eye on your six, as corrupted satellites have been known to bite back. That's it. You successfully completed the first exercise. Hopefully you're feeling proud. You showed some real promise out there. Why don't you get some rest, and I'll see you when you're ready to move on to the next lesson.
Once you complete this mission, it says you've got 5 rewards, and you'll find them back at your primary residence. I've not been back to check those yet, so I don't quite know what they are, but we'll probably talk about them in a future video.
Now that you're here, we can get the party started.
Okay.
Not sure how much combat experience you have, but the main advice I like to give is to try to focus on moving while aiming. It's easy to get too focused on one at the expense of the other. Remember, you're a spaceship, not a glorified turret. You ready? Weapons free. Good luck.
Shields hit.
On to the second mission, and we're just fighting a small 85X, and all we've got to do is neutralize this target. Not actually the easiest ship to kill, it's absolutely tiny, so it is pretty hard to land some good shots on this little thing.
Target destroyed.
Alright, that's it for this exercise. You did good, Brooke. Let me guess, you're a fan of Arena Commander. Either way, you're making good progress. Heck, I bet there's some real Navy combat pilots who don't pick up the trade as quick as you are. We got one more exercise. Grab some rack time and I'll see you when you're ready for the last lesson.
Patrol training number 2 is complete, and we've got 10 rewards this time. So now for the final Navy Patrol training, scenario number 3.
All channels! I'm under attack! Please, if you hear this, help me!
All these missions seem to be around the ArcCorp area for me, and they are pretty close together, so getting from one to the next one literally takes seconds. In this third scenario, we've got to protect a ship and take out the 2 enemy targets.
Target destroyed.
I'm heading out. Take care.
Well, I'll be. You passed with flying colors, rookie. Hopefully now that you got a taste for it, you'll be looking to keep upping your skills. Hell, I could see you becoming a full Navy pilot in a year or so. To be honest, you could even be ready to start taking on some mercenary work right now. Whichever path you decide on, it was an honor to be your instructor. Be safe out there. This is Flight Instructor Gilly, signing off.
Flight Instructor Gilly has told us to check out the mercenary missions, so let's take a look at our contracts and check out what's available now in the mercenary tab. And we've got the Combat Gauntlets Scenario 1. Under the mission description, it gives you a list of the kind of things you're going to be doing from missions 1 to 8, and you've got single targets, multiple targets, target priority, target stealth, missiles and countermeasures, multi-crew targets, corvette with escorts, and finally, the one we're all looking forward to, the capital ship encounter.
Shields offline.
Okay, you're in the right place.
Online.
Stand by while I deploy your targets.
Today I'm flying an F8, and I would say that missions 1 to 6 are easily possible in the F8 as a solo pilot, and missions 7 and 8 do get a little bit more complicated.
Contact, ready up.
Bogey.
As the missions go up, you do get slightly bigger targets, and it does take a little bit to kill these ships, so sometimes I'm going to fast forward these fights, but it gives you the general idea of what ships you're going to be up against.
Target destroyed.
Clear up, but I got more coming your way.
Shields. Target destroyed.
All targets neutralized. Catch your breath. The next one is on its way.
Bogey. Target destroyed.
For this mission, we do earn something called an MG script, and once again, these are available at our primary residence. These are items that we will be at hand in with Wicklow. I've not yet been to see what we can get with them, but I'm sure they're going to help us when we want to get some unique items from Wicklow.
Looks like you got inbound. Weapons free.
Bogey.
Moving on to Combat Gauntlet Scenario number 2 now, and we've finally got fighter ships.
Lock.
I think we've got 3 ships, 2 Mustangs, and 1 Arrow.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Arriving at Scenario 3, Wave 1, we're going to be up against a Hornet.
Target destroyed.
Cleared that wave. I've signaled the next.
Wave 2 looks like we've got a Prospector and another Hornet.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Pretty easy targets, and the F8 makes mincemeat out of these.
Target destroyed.
There we go. Another lesson in the books. Hopefully you can feel yourself improving, because I'm definitely seeing it on my side. I recommend a bit of downtime, and then we can get back at it. Rest up, and I'll see you soon.
Another 5 rewards.
Got hostiles heading to your position. Prepare to engage.
Bogey.
Scenario 4, and it's time to beat down on a mole. This is a heavily armoured ship, and it will take a while to kill this thing. It's not going to do much damage to us, but it's just one of those frustrating ships that take ages to kill.
Shields hit. Target destroyed.
Nicely done, rookie. I wish more of my students flew like that. Take a well-deserved rest, and let me know when you're ready for the next lesson. Hostiles inbound. Light them up.
Bogey.
Scenario 5, Wave 1, and the first ship is a Freelancer. This is a really, really easy ship to kill,
Shields.
and it does no damage whatsoever. Let's take this guy down slowly, and let's just see if there's any loot inside that ship. Always on the lookout for loot, so I gotta check it while I'm here.
Target destroyed.
All clear. Stand by for the next wave. It's gonna be even tougher.
And none of it's very good, but there are some drugs on there, and a few other bits and pieces. Wave 2 now, and I think that's a Firebird.
Target destroyed.
And we've also got a Vanguard ship.
Target destroyed.
Scenario complete, and that's another 12 rewards.
Got hostiles heading to your position. Prepare to engage.
Bogey.
Scenario 6, and our first target here is a Constellation ship. Now these are pretty tough, and it's going to take everything I've got to take this thing down.
Shields.
I've also just spotted another ship popping in the background there, and that looks like a small fighter ship, so I might leave this Taurus for a minute, and we'll come back to it later. The little fighter ship is a Gladius, so we definitely want to get this guy down first.
Target destroyed.
Gladius down, and we've actually spotted that there is another Gladius, so we're going to take that one down as well. All the time this Constellation is firing on us, so this time I have to head back into the asteroid field and use a few of the asteroids for cover. Shields are back up, and we're just about to start on him, and we get super lucky, and he flies straight into an asteroid, and it's mission complete.
Hostiles spotted. Give them what you got.
Scenario number 7 now, and this is where things are going to start to get really tough. It says we're going to face a corvette, and the only corvette I know that spawns in these missions is a Hammerhead. So we probably won't be able to do this in the F8, but we're going to give it a try anyway.
Shields
We've also got what looks like 3 small fighter ships, so we're going to take them down first. I'm going to stay well within these asteroids because I do not want that hammerhead lighting me up. It's already getting a few hits on me from far, and it is hurting me already. First target, we're going to take the Hornet.
Target destroyed.
While I was fighting that Hornet, it seems like the other 2 fighter ships have flown into the asteroids and they've killed themselves. So the only target left is the hammerhead. It does seem like the hammerhead's not hitting with every shot now. They seem to have maybe reduced the accuracy of these ships, because in the last patch it was an absolute nightmare and they would just completely annihilate you. This time I did get a bit lucky and avoided quite a lot of those shots, but he took my shields down straight away, so I was thinking of just bugging out, thinking I'm never going to complete this mission. But in the end I turned round, I thought let me get rid of all my missiles, and let me just see what this guy can do while we go inside the asteroid field. So I'm using the asteroids for cover, and I'm just going to see how much damage I can do to him, and whether or not it's worth me sticking around, or coming back to try this mission with either a bigger ship, or a couple of mates. It's definitely a lot easier for me to get around the asteroids, and he's having a little bit of a harder time trying to get hits on me, and I can just pop out and give him a few shots. Unfortunately his shields are hardly going down at all. I do manage to get them red a couple of times, but I'm just not sure this is going to work. As a last resort, I'm going to try and get behind him and just unload everything I've got, but as soon as I pop out from this rock, the hammerhead's right in front of me and he just lights me up. I thought I was going to blow at this point, and just as a stroke of serious luck, while we're fighting, the hammerhead just crashes straight into the asteroid. I'm not going to complain how I get the kill. I got the kill. Mission complete. So the only thing that's left now is Scenario 8, and for that one I am definitely going to need some friends. So I'm going to call up a few org mates, and we're going to head back in a few different ships. The F8 will not stand up to any shots from the Polaris, so I need something with some good shields, and maybe even a PDC, just to take some of the stress off if I get lit up with missiles.
Okay, you're in the right place. Stand by while I deploy your targets. Contact, ready up.
I am flying in the Phoenix, which is one of my favourite type of ships. I do love the Constellation series. And recently I bought myself a Phoenix in game, so I thought I don't need to get any cargo, so I might as well just bring this. It's got a PDC, and hopefully I'll be able to hang around these rocks and not take an absolute beating. So straight away we can see that we've got 2 Gladiuses and we've got 2 Corsairs, as well as the Polaris flying around like some sort of shark in the background, just waiting to absolutely demolish us. It did take me a while just to get my targeting with this ship, because after flying the F8 for so long, it was really unresponsive and a bit sluggish. So it took me a little bit of time just to sort of control the ship. While I'm fighting these ships, the Polaris is hitting me, and it is hitting me with its big size 6 ballistics, as you can see there in the bottom left. My ship is taking an absolute beating, and my rear shield is already gone. So while the boys are fighting the other ships, I'm just going to head around this asteroid and get my shields back up to full. Pop a few shots on the Polaris there, but that was a bad idea. So now I'm heading back around the rocks and I'm going to look for the Corsairs and the Gladiuses. I'm trying to keep hits on him, so I take the aggro and let the boys fight the other ships and get them down as quickly as possible. Polaris is hitting me from miles away, and at this point it didn't look too hopeful that we were going to be able to complete this mission.
Shield is down.
So the Gladius is down, and now there's just one Corsair left, and the Polaris.
Shields damaged.
Boom, that explosion was awesome. And now there's just one target left. Let's do this.
Target acquired.
We do fire off a few missiles, but the PDCs take most of them out. But we're just trying to fire as many as we can between us to overwhelm the PDCs and get some free hits on the Polaris. Our main objective is to take down its rear shields, and then we'll focus on its engines. We've got Reaper here today, and Enoch. Reaper is flying another constellation, and Enoch is flying the Ion. Hopefully we can keep the aggro from the Polaris, and Enoch can deliver some heavy hits with the iron cannon. We are actually managing to get the shield down as well, so we're pretty hopeful that we might actually be able to kill this thing if we can keep that shield down and get enough hits on it. It has got a massive HP, but hopefully if all three of us are focused on it, we will eventually kill it. Just gotta make sure we avoid that massive size 6 ballistic cannon, and obviously avoid those asteroids as well. With the rear shield down now, we're actually penetrating the hull, and we have the Polaris on the run, it feels like. We're all focusing on one engine at a time, and hopefully we'll be able to render it dead in the water, and then just take our time, picking the ship apart, and getting the kill. While we're chasing it down here, we're just trying to stay on top of the ship, and you don't want to be on the underside, because those ballistic cannons, they hit straight to your hull, and they do massive, massive damage. I think if my ship took 5 or 6 of them in a row, it would literally blow up. I've pumped more power to the front shields, so while I'm behind it, I'm only taking damage on the front shield really, and it is allowing my shields to hold while taking these big hits. There goes one of the engines, and you can already see that the ship is less maneuverable, it's not moving with as much speed, and we're gaining the upper hand in this fight. He's still got 5 out of 6 engines, so there's a long way to go. In this latest patch, I've heard you do get more bullets within your magazines, but I must say it does take a little bit longer for them to charge back up again. I'd prefer having less and them charge up quicker than having more and this really slow recharge rate. Anyway, boom, there goes another engine. We're down to 4 now. This thing is taking some damage. Big ballistic shots coming right past the nose there. Luckily, they didn't hit us. Now we've blown the hangar open so we can actually see which side is the top of the ship, and that is definitely going to make this fight a lot easier. He says while getting blasted in the face with ballistic cannons. A bit later on in the fight now, and we finally have all the Polaris's engines gone. And it is pretty much dead in the water. All it can do is what we're calling the death roll, like a crocodile, and strafing up, down, left and right. But it literally cannot fly with any engine power anymore. It's just flying right now with only its thrusters. The three of us are just raining shots in, and the hull is taking a lot of damage on this Polaris. This fight's now been going on for like half an hour at least, and the ship is taking an absolute beating. With more power to shields, I can actually take most of the laser shots from the Polaris, so the Phoenix is holding up well.
Shields damaged. Shields damaged.
Finally, the PDCs are no longer protecting it as well, so we fire off all our remaining missiles, and it takes some good hits. You can just see here how dead in the water the Polaris is. It is literally moving at a crawling pace now. It is, however, standing up to the punishment really, really well. I mean, we have just been beating on this thing for nearly 45 minutes now, and it is still going strong. Even though the hull looks all red, it seems quite far away from blowing up at this point.
Shields damaged.
In the last section, I did take some hits from the ballistics, just like I am there, and you can see my ship is now going pretty red. At this point, I started to get a little bit worried, and I was really trying to focus on staying above the Polaris from this point forward. My ship is completely red, and I reckon 3 or 4 more of those ballistic shots, and I am going to be gone. Luckily, my shields are still holding, and I can take the laser damage.
Shields damaged.
If I do get too close though, you'll see my shields do go down there, and this is now an emergency. I need to get away from here, back right off him, and let some of the other boys take the aggro. We are so close to death at this point. One carefully placed shot on my ship, and I reckon I'm dead. dropping back about 2.8k, and I can finally get my shields back up. This Phoenix is stock, and maybe I do need to upgrade some of my components to get my bullets to refresh a little bit faster. Maybe this is why it was taking so long, because it just took so long for the weapons to recharge. I could only ever fire off like 4 or 5 shots per gun at a time, because I couldn't be arsed waiting like 30-40 seconds to get full and then go again. They have definitely slowed the combat down in this patch. I feel like everything is quite a bit slower, and whether that's intentional or because my ship is just completely stock, I don't know, and I'm going to go and check that out as soon as possible. I'm going to do some contested zones and some hangars and some of the Wicklow hand-ins. I'm going to try and get myself some good components so I can do up a few of these ships. Because as with every patch at the moment, it does seem to get rid of all your components on your ships. Anything that you've upgraded, it seems to just disappear. So that is a bit of a nightmare, and every like month or so my ships are all getting reset back to stock, which is pretty annoying.
Shields damaged.
Excellent work. You are an official graduate of Gilly's famous combat pilot training course, and I couldn't be prouder. You now have the skills to not only protect yourself in a dangerous verse, but you may have the makings of a truly exceptional merc. I wish you luck, and hope we'll meet again next time you're looking to improve your piloting know-how. This is Flight Instructor Gilly, signing off.
Boom, finally the Polaris has been defeated. It took over an hour, but it was worth it. It was an epic battle, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm just happy that we actually managed to do it between 3 of us. It felt like it was sort of a no-win situation, but we've overcome it, and we've defeated it. My ship is super red, and I reckon I made it by the skin of my teeth. Some of the other boys did have time to die and then come back and join the fight, and luckily we didn't all die at once, so we kept the battle going. And we managed to keep the Polaris' shields down for the entire fight, because it was a bit of a nightmare getting that thing down in the first place. So there's only one thing left to do with a dead Polaris. As it was an NPC ship, I just wanted to check if there was any loot on board. I didn't even scan it, I just thought let me go on there and see. I was hoping it would be like fully crewed and there'd be loads of people to fight just to get on it. Unfortunately it was just an empty ship, but it did have some loot in the cargo hold. No, it wasn't full of weevil eggs or quantanium, but there was a few big containers of medical supplies and ultratoxin, so we thought we'd take them. And that is it for this video, guys. It was a bit of a long one today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and until next time, take it easy.